everybody. This is Love from Above by your Sibling Spirit Guides. I'm Maureen, and this is my brother.
Hey Maureen, hey everyone, this is Brian.
Hey, Brian, we're so happy to be here. If you can believe it, on this podcast, we share channelings we receive from star beings, ascended masters, mythical beings who really exist, and occasionally our ancestors. And today's topic is a continuation of last week's session, outrageous opportunities. So if you didn't hear that one, it will play directly after this. But boy, so many opportunities, and these are not the opportunities that we normally think of. It's the opportunities. Last week we talked what about Brian, like being thankful for the nature that's around us and being thankful for the guides that are around us. Can you remember what else we talked about last week?
Now you're testing me. I, no, it's been a too busy a week for me, but I know there's so many things to be thankful for. So
Yeah. Yeah. So the first one we're going to talk about was from rather relatively recently, which is April 7th of this year. And this is opportunities for change. Brian, do you want to kick us off with what they talked about?
let's do it. All right, darling daughter, beloved son, rest assured that we come to you now in peace, carrying the love of the one, the all. Now, the multitude, the host of heavenly bodies, are sometimes confused within the teachings of your great religions. We understand the desire to calm the nerves by a greater understanding. However, it truly does not matter who is accessing this delightful portal which we engage with often. How can this be? You must wonder, aren't there bad guys and good guys? Aliens with malicious intent, others who serve at the right hand of the Father? These are assertions within your own realities. From our reality, even the disruptive, chaotic forces serve to spin one forth into a higher trajectory. In this way, it should not matter if you receive this message from the Christ or the Buddha, as long as the inherent message rings forth as true within your own sensory beings. Then you know is a delightful truth to ponder and follow upon your ever curving journey. So let's pause there. So, I mean, isn't that the truth? It doesn't matter. Again, it's like Thoth always says, it's a message, not the messenger. Um, but what I thought is interesting, how they said even the disruptive, chaotic forces serve to spin one forth into a higher trajectory, which seems counterintuitive, but somehow, what are your thoughts?
Oh, I absolutely think that's true. I mean, I think you can look in your life and see the chaos and turbulent times like brought you to a place that you actually needed to be in. And yeah, and I love the thought that there are no bad guys, there are no good guys. You know, I mean, it's all equal. I just finished reading another Dolores Cannon book, and that's her message too, with all the different beings that she channeled, like they're all good.
Yeah, nothing to be afraid of, nothing to, yeah. And it's so much of today's society seems so polarized. It's, us versus them. So we need to sort of change that focus, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, so beautiful message. So I'll continue. They say that humans look for lines, but there are rarely straight lines in life. Look at your own personal lives to see the truth of this trajectory. We promise there are some zigs, some zags, some course corrections. This is true for all beings, for the path is rarely straight ahead. So I'm going to stop there. That is so true. Like we're at the time of graduations, and I think when you're young and you graduate from high school or college, like you imagine your future life as like this straight line. I'm going to do this and this and this. And life curves in ways that you could never imagine, you know?
Yeah,
Uh,
absolutely.
Yeah, so right now I'm staying with my youngest child in Florida, and I was just saying to them recently, like they really wanted this job in California when they graduated with their master's degree. And it ended up being like the best thing in the world that they didn't get that job because I think they're so much better situated in Florida. So, you can't really see that at the time, but that was definitely a zig that my youngest did not see, right?
Yeah, that's so true for all of our lives that there's instances like that. But yeah, very true.
So then they gave me this analogy, which honestly I really didn't get. So when I was a kid, every day for lunch, Brian, what did you eat every day for lunch? I had a tuna fish sandwich. Did you have a tuna fish sandwich every day
Oh
for lunch?
no, no, I could not stand. Probably a peanut butter and jelly.
But did you have it every day for lunch?
I don't know. I don't know because I had different. Yeah, I had different
Okay,
types
I
of.
had a tuna. I'm telling you, my whole childhood, I had a tuna fish sandwich. So they gave me the example of my tuna fish sandwich that I ate, every day for lunch when I was growing up. They said it was a simple sandwich repeated again and again. However, should one notice the repetitive nature of this force, you will find that each day differed with regards to the quality of the bread, the mixture of the tuna. These small differences reflect larger transitions that may or may not be occurring. I didn't really get that. And of course they are scanning me and they're like, "Oh, we see you do not understand our message. We'll provide another message. Analogy. Go to your closet, see a hanger, an empty hanger there. This empty hanger represents the potentiality of the future. It represents a space that must be filled. You can save the space for your wedding dress, for a new skirt, for a new summer dress, for your grandmother's coat when she comes to visit. It is the opportunity, the space, which provides flexibility for what arrives. In the same way, should you open a space within your life for the flexibility of change that occurs naturally within your worlds, much joy shall be heralded and sung with your praises. Remember that there is no straight path forward. Tomorrow is always different from today. Once you begin to accept and rejoice in these ultimate changes, you may be freed from much dispensation of worry that creases your brow. We shall say no more. I love that they say tomorrow is always different from today.
Yeah, and I mean this aligns with so many other things they've said is how, not only that, but to get out of your routines. I mean, that sort of aligns with that was some of our prior messages we've had that repeated so many times. But accept and rejoice the changes that makes total sense. So yeah, it's interesting the analogy, the hanger or open hanger that was, but I guess I understand it now to just be open to change. Um,
It's making space. I can't remember who this teacher was, but it was one book that I followed, I read, and this person was talking about manifestation and like really opening the space for in your life. So she gave the example of this woman who was really searching for their life partner and they made changes in their life. Like, so they started sleeping on just one half of the bed and using one half of the bathroom sink as if the partner had already arrived. And this person had been single like for a really, really long time. And once they made those changes as if the partner was already there, you know, a partner arrived in their life. So, it's like that saving that space for whatever you want. Um, So yeah, it's really interesting. I didn't get the tuna fish analogy. Brian, did you understand that one?
well, I understand like it's every sandwich is slightly different and some could be there are nuances to it, but I thought I think the hanger one was a little easier to understand. I agree.
Yeah. So the next one is an opportunity to upload a new version of yourself. So Brian, do you think of yourselves as a computer that you can upload? I guess there are a lot of books that talk about this, that we can receive downloads and upgrades. So I guess we can upload a new version of ourselves, right?
Yeah, I mean, supposedly yeah, they've been working on us, and there's expanding the DNA, and the one book where we've been reading, that Diana Cooper, that talks about the not the 12 chakras, not the seven, but the 12, I think, is it 12 chakras? Anyway, so there's all sorts of expansion and upgrades going on us too. So I think it's very interesting. But so they go on to say, darling daughter, beloved son, we rush to be by your sides at this crucial juncture. For what is love but devotion to to another kindred soul, to one's kindred soul? We can see that you're ready to upload a new enhanced version of yourself. Each version is like a repeated image of yourself as the one creator intends. There's Maureen the ice skater and Brian the sword thrower. Maureen who loves to draw, Brian who loves to rollerblade. If you could see yourselves as we do, you would see that in each moment there is an opportunity for growth. Just like the growth of your plants goes unobserved, the growth within the adult human body is also unlikely to be noticed. So very interesting because I was just reading this. I have never thrown a sword or rollerbladed, but I don't know. You ice skated. You don't draw though, do you? But it's just
I do not, but I'm a huge art enthusiast, and I would really love to draw or paint. But yeah, I would like to meet Brian the sword thrower or Brian the
yeah.
rollerblade.
I'm open to it. I guess I'm always open to, but it's very interesting. The opportunity for growth, and it's you know, I guess you got to challenge yourself to try new things, right? And
Well, when I visualize this, when they're talking about repeated images, I visualize like, like paper dolls, like, or if you would, cut out something, as a kid and like pull it apart. So it's like a repeated pattern. So yeah, I imagine that there's, infinite possibilities for each one of us. But my favorite analogy here is the plant because, you don't notice how a plant grows and blossoms on a day by day basis. But then, uh, you can see the difference in your garden from the seasons, from winter to spring to summer. So it is always growing and changing. And the same is true with us.
yeah, yeah, like you see it in those time lapse videos that show
Right.
the growth, but yeah, it's not something you can readily notice.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'll go on. This was from April 13th of this year. And this is next one is an opportunity to connect, which, who doesn't want opportunities to connect with divine beings? Sign me up for that. Um, they said there is much of the world to explore and to connect with. It says each room in your mansion or each room in your home contains a different opportunity to connect with another higher being. Should you desire to go into your garden, you can make connect with the natural spirits of the earth. Should you desire to slip into slumbering mode, you may connect with the many guardians who surround you at all times. It's time for humanity to awaken from their slumber and connect with their heavenly brothers and sisters so they may assume their rightful position within the cosmos. How is this best done? It is untangling the self from the fears of the future, the regrets of the past, and seizing the moment to enjoy the utmost fulfillment of each day. This is what the Creator intended. Make no mistake about it, you were not meant to toil in poverty without love. I got to repeat that one. You were not meant to toil in poverty without love. These are abject conditions which we deplore and work to correct. The solutions that we offer are becoming clear as a veil between the world's sins. there are more opportunities for everyday people to assist with the uplifting of humanity's core existence. Brian, that is such a powerful message.
Yeah, totally. Um, so I love the message about, yeah, you're not meant to toil in poverty without love. There's so many messages and books we've read about that there is abundance for everyone, and it's not like a, zero sum game where there's only certain people who can win. And anyway, it's just I think it's very uplifting to read that type of message.
And that's something I will just tell you the opportunities to love as you travel the world. There's just so much goodness, and there's so many times when I travel the world, and I'll begin a flight sitting next to a stranger, and I'll end the flight by hugging the person and saying, "I love you." So,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
there's just so many wonderful opportunities out there. So, yeah. Do you want to continue with what they go
Yeah.
on to say about
So
the temples?
yeah, they go on to say the temples which you visit offer an opportunity to channel this energy into a powerful light force which can assist all humanity. These temples have been corrupted in the past. However, do not mistake the power which is imbued within their inherent to their structures. We wish to rectify the inglorious past where humanity was chained in abject terror. Just as you should choose not to remember or block out a memory that brings you great harm, we ask that you turn away from the abject horrors of the ignoble past. The light within can grow through the augmentation of prayers and the acceptance of help from the heavenly brothers and sisterhood who unite to provide this framework for this ever-present existence. Again, we say open your doors to what really exists. Venture out of your shells, move forth, take forth what is rightfully belongs to you. The heavenly kingdom is shared by all. Awaken, little one. Yeah, that's just a great message.
Yeah. I mean, this is a really powerful message. Um, yeah. What's your biggest takeaway
I
from?
Yeah, I was thinking about this. I forgot about this message. I have to go back. I usually mark. I told you my favorite ones, and somehow I missed this one. Yeah, this is a really powerful one. I just love it. So, so many great points in here. Um, but again, so many consistent themes. Like again, venture out of your shells and move forth, take forth what is rightly belongs to you. Um, so there's so much opportunity for us all, and I think it's, you know, taking a risk and venturing out and just um doing those type of things to take advantage of what's out there.
The big, and we got another message like this, where they told me I used to always like if I was, it didn't matter if it was like a mosque or uh, you know, or a church, I would like, do a meditation, a prayer in there, and I had gotten away from that. And for me, the big change that I've made of this is now when I go to these beautiful churches that I'm lucky enough to go see, like I sit down and actually, do a meditation and a gratitude practice and because there is power in these, I think any place you've been where whether it's a sacred circle or it's a temple or it's a church where there's been prayers said for decades or years or centuries, there's a power there. There's a power there. And who want to, hook on to that power, you know what I mean? So, yeah, that's a big change that I've made from that is I am now actually sitting down and taking the time to do a meditation and gratitude practice in each of these places I visit.
Yeah, I know. I do the same when we were traveling recently, like in Spain and in the church, and as you know, then I can feel it in my crown chakra that the energy or someone, that the the, I can sort of sense something. And so
Wonderful.
that's, almost any church is like that though, but especially in those old churches, yeah, there's so much power and energy in there. So do you recall where, what temple or where you were when that they were talking about? Oh, you were in South America, right?
Yeah, so this has been April, so I would have been in some yeah, I visit a lot. There's so many temples in Peru
Yeah.
to go visit, but really, really sacred spaces. So but you know what? I love those churches in Europe. Like when I was renting a house long term in Ireland, I would go into town, and unlike the churches in the United States, that church was open all day and it was busy. Like people were coming in and, saying their prayers or putting flowers on the altar. And, and I just think the more activity you have in a church like that, the more alive it is, the more energy there is in there. And yeah, when I went into town, I would always go visit the church. So, yeah, I'm grateful for these messages. So I found a good one for the closing, which was from April 9th of this year. And this is for opportunities for help. Brian, we've talked about this and again and again. You got your guys, they're all there, your peeps, your posse, but you gotta, there's free will on this planet and you gotta ask for help. So this says, Beloved child, we come together now. We come together now as the timing is right. You may marvel at these insignificant opportunities to connect with your holy brethren. However, these meetings are momentously significant. We only wish to make our presence known and ask you to call on us on a more frequent basis. Oh, how the humans moan and frets like a baby crying in their high chair. But like the ever-present parent, we are always here when willing to help you escape from your present tirade. So how do
Oh,
you like that analogy? I was whining and moaning like a baby in a high
oh
chair.
my gosh. I love this. I love that yeah, to them, we must seem like, oh my God, these people are, s- come on. But it's really interesting. I love that when they say things like that. It's pretty funny. But I wish, yeah, I mean, I guess from their perspective, it's totally different. Like you said, I mean, it's at a different dimension, so you can just, I don't know, it's hard to ex things are so tough on being a third dimension being in Earth, and being incarnated in Earth is not easy, but yeah, ask for help. That's what your
Yeah,
guides and people are
yeah.
there for. So that's the bottom line.
Yeah, and everything always works out. Brian, I have to tell you, so I've been keeping track. I call it keep it on my notes. It's ego's drama and all those worries and fears like, oh gosh, this is gonna happen. So I've been keeping track of it. And like our father, yesterday I actually tracked what is the percentage of the time that it comes true, my fears, and it's 8%. So 92% of the time, my fears are totally unfounded.
That is totally like our dad. How long have you been tracking that? That's great. How long have you been, what's the time frame on that?
I read some book and I started tracking it. I would say it's been, I don't know how long I didn't put a date to it. Our father would have had a date to it, but you want to, but but yeah, yesterday I was like, because yesterday there was a day that a bunch of the stuff that I was worried about, and of course none of it, man, everything ended up working out perfectly, and it went so much better than I could have ever expected, and so, but yeah, so that really helps me 92% of the time. This is it's not going to happen. And so, and we've talked about this too. When you do get a curve, a zig, zag in life, it's usually a total surprise.
And it usually, and like we said, works out for the best in the long run, even though
Oh, yeah.
something you may perceive as negative, but in the long run, it's going to work out for the best. So,
Yeah.
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 All right. Gonna love
Okay, well,
it.
we'll talk to you all next week. Thank you so much for listening. We're grateful for you all.
Bye, everyone.